Hi guys, it's Mesa. Hey, today I want to talk to you about why thrift stores are raising their prices. And even though I'm fairly new to serious reselling, I kind of have a unique perspective because I have actually worked for Pueblo Goodwill. It was years ago, but I'm hoping to give you guys a little bit of perspective on some things I picked up in my short time there. Of course, thrift stores and secondhand stores have, there's a myriad things that go into, how much you're going to charge for your services and your products, inflation, the location, operating expenses, and frankly, greed. I worked during an embezzlement scandal. That was my experience with Pueblo Goodwill. And so I have seen the greed side of it. I think anytime you have money involved, there's going to be some level of greed. And, I think that we're kidding ourselves if we think that we're above that. We do need to keep it in check, however, I do agree. But so the operating expenses right now during the pandemic, I know they're getting a lot of influx of donations, I would expect. But they've also, here locally, all the thrift stores have had outbreaks, and it costs a lot of money to properly clean that and be cleared for the health department once you've had an outbreak and to get back in operation. It's expensive. It's not just you go in there with some Lysol and bleach. You have to have certified people go in there with medical grade everything, and they have to test it, and it's a pretty, here locally they've been very stringent once you have an outbreak. It's expensive to reopen, so that's also impacting them at this time. So one misconception that I wanted to talk about is everyone thinks that all of the inventory was gotten free by through donations. And actually, that's not true. There are a lot of stores that are not self-sustaining, and I believe self-sustaining stores are actually the exception. And what that means is that they get enough donations locally to pay the bills, to flip and pay the bills. Most of them are buying pallets of dead stock and that sort of thing. So not everything you see there is free. That's why they have so many items that are new with tags, because they're kind of doing what you're doing to supplement the donations that they get. The second misconception is that thrift stores hate resellers. I actually did have an employee of a local thrift store tell me that it was my fault that they were having to raise the prices, and that was like the second time I had ever been in there. And I was like, my fault? How's it my fault? I never really heard that before, except through resellers, just complaints that I've heard from resellers, but I was like, that's not real. And the lady she went on a tirade about it, and, she basically was saying that they have to raise their prices because we charge more, and I was like, but if you're getting what you ask either way, whether you ask $3 or $8, you're getting your price by someone. Why not a reseller? I don't understand. Anyway, that did happen to me once where a person blamed me, but I've been in there, she's not a spokesman for the company. I've been in there, and the other gals received me very well, and they know I'm reselling, and they're nice about it. They're very welcoming. When I was at Pueblo Goodwill, we had a lot of resellers with niche interests, and we would save merchandise for them because there was stuff we just didn't have the expertise to get the right prices for anyway. They were going to pay us more than anyone else was going to pay us. So we would save, there was a guy who bought cameras, and we would save them in a box, and he would come in periodically every month or so, see what was in the box, and he would tell me, oh, these are really cool, but I don't know how to fix these, but you could take it to such and such place and have it fixed, and I bet you could get X amount of money for it. So, and then he would buy the items that he wanted. He would set his own price. He would educate us about the rest. And we made good money, much more money than we would have made without a knowledgeable reseller partnership. So it was good for everybody in that situation, and everyone can build that. I totally encourage you to build relationships. Just be nice. Go in there and ask honest questions and listen to the answers, and just ask people how their days are going and show a little personal interest, and you don't know how far that's going to take you. Just be nice. People like nice people, okay? So, also, it's easy to get in this mindset that everything that hurts your business or impacts your business is intentional. And, there's nobody in some Goodwill corporate office that's going like, how do we get the resellers? How do I get that? How do we sabotage their efforts? Like, nobody is doing that. The decisions that they're making are self-interest based for their company, just like the decisions you're making are for your company. So, there's no reason to really feel all persecuted and picked on. One person doesn't count. Number 3, the misconception is they shouldn't care about the value of an item that was donated. Well, if you were the person who donated a valuable item, you might feel differently. If you were a person that's benefiting from their mission statements, and their nonprofit initiatives, the altruistic things that each of them do, if you were benefiting or your disabled child was benefiting, you would care the Goodwill or the ARC or all of those were being good stewards of your donation and making those donations go as far as possible. So having that perspective, I totally get it. I'm the person who the stuff I give to Goodwill is the stuff I don't want anymore, and I don't want it in landfill. That's what I give. But some people, there's really nice stuff that shows up there. And if they want to upsell it, let them, And if it's not the right price for you, move on. If it's not a big enough margin that you're comfortable with, find something different. So, I want you to come away with resellers and thrift stores. They're sharing a lot of the same challenges. They're having trouble with sourcing good products that people want to buy at the right price. They're not always just dropped off on their doorstep. Just like, sometimes they're dropped off at your doorstep too. Don't tell me that you haven't had some freebie that's like paid off really big. Like, don't be hypocritical about it, because it happens a lot at a thrift store, okay? They also have a dirty job. I can tell you, we used to get a carton from a mountain town. Every few months, this lady would call us and say, the bin is full, come and get it. And we would dread it, because processing that was like going through the garbage. We would process a lot of dirty stuff, but we didn't wear gloves and masks. But when this truck came, we wore gloves and masks, because literally there was a family of raccoons that got delivered with the bin one time. And all their mess was in there, mouse mess. People had donated wet laundry that molded. That was nice. We probably needed a hazmat specialist when we did that. We would process it in one day because we did not want it sticking around. What went to the dumpster went to the dumpster. What we could salvage, we salvaged. But we had all hands on deck, and we did it all that day. One day, that's it. Because what people donate was just a pair of pants that had been pooped in, like an adult pair of pants. Diapers galore. People just throw them right in with the kids' clothes and donate diapers. And those diapers had sat there for a month in the donation bin before we had ever gotten to it. So they have a dirty job, and they're adding value too, just like you are adding value by processing, displaying, curating, photographing, storing, promoting, selling your items. We're adding value. That's why we can buy stuff for $2 and sell it for $25, because we're adding value by curating it, cleaning it up, repairing it, doing whatever we have to do. The thrift stores are doing the same thing. They're making an honest living. They're earning it too, So I really hope that you guys could get that perspective. So we really got to talk about what we can do, because what everybody wants to do is complain. So if you want to be that lady who wants to talk to a manager at a thrift store because you can't believe the price gouging that is going on in this store, like, if you're going to complain that they want $25 for a pair of mismade jeans, knowing full well that you're going to charge $50 in your Poshmark closet, like, and you're calling them out on that publicly, like, really, whose greed are you shining a light on? Whose? Yours or theirs? Because they're marking up $24, you're marking up another $24. Like, don't be hypocritical about it, and really, complaining isn't really getting you anywhere. You know, this is about as far as I've gone with complaining, like, I'll tell you, full disclosure. So when I go to the counter with my selections, then they always ask you, you know, did you find everything, you know, are you happy with your finds or whatever? And I always say, oh my gosh, you have such cute stuff, but I had to put half of it back because it's just so expensive. I'm going to wait for a sale. I'm waiting for a sale. And that's pretty much as far as I personally would take it, because I do want them to know that in general, you know, but I also don't want them to be like, you can't charge this for this amount, you know, this is crazy. Like, it's just not, it's not useful, it's not getting you anywhere, and it's kind of making resellers everywhere look bad. So I think on behalf of resellers everywhere, like, stop doing that. Don't be that person. Okay? So what else should you do about it? Just pay up? Just pay? Yeah. Well, you know, what is your complaint? Is it really too expensive? Like, if you're willing to pay up, don't also be the person complaining and the person paying up. If it's worth it to pay up and it's worth it to you, go ahead and pick it up. But if you really are having a struggle with it and you really want prices to drop in your area, stop buying it at that price. Buy it when it's on sale. I almost never pick up anything at my Goodwill that is not half off. I always just shop the clearance tags. It's a personal decision, but, you know, it's an option. You can leave it behind. It could be a good thing that somebody else could find. And you may have to just source elsewhere. A lot of people are driving to places where it's cheaper. Look for other opportunities. You know, shop your friend's closet. You having a yard sale? Why don't I save you the trouble? Just bring over a few boxes here. I'll go through it. Maybe we could split it. If you have something good, we can split it. You know, there's a lot of opportunities out there. There's little mom and pop places that you might not have heard of. I drove by a place. They don't even have a phone number. It's the cutest place. It's called Junk and Disorderly. And they have really cute little treasures in there, and it's curated and laid out so nice in their little store. The prices are super negotiable. You know, they're not even in the phone book. They're not on Facebook. They're just a little store, and once in a while you see the door open and a sign outside. It's the only way that you know that they're there. So anyway, I would love to hear your creative, positive comments. What are you guys doing to deal with the high prices you're seeing in the thrift stores? How are you getting around it? You know, what are your tricks? How are you guys getting through this pandemic and keeping your profit margins high even when you see the prices going up? Love to hear from you.